Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be talking about malignant otitis externa. Malignant otitis externa, it is also called necrotizing otitis externa. It is an infection and inflammatory condition of the external ear which is caused by Pseudomonas species, and it is generally seen in elderly individuals. Then such patients are either immunocompromised, for example, suffering from HIV infection, or they are patients with uncontrolled diabetes, or who are on any immunosuppressive drugs, for example, anti-cancer therapy. Now, this name of the name, that is malignant otitis externa, it is a misnomer because it is not a malignant condition, it is an infective condition. But it is called malignant otitis externa because of its characteristic feature that it spreads very rapidly. So the spread of the infection, it can be in different direction. If the infection spreads superiorly, it can involve the skull base. Inferiorly, it can involve the jugular foramen, causing the lower cranial nerve palsies. Then anterior spread through to the temporomandibular fossa, it involves the TM joint. Posteriorly, the infection can spread to the mastoid bone, and medially into the middle ear and the petrous bone. So the clinical features of the patient will also depend upon the spread of the disease. The general clinical features of such patients, they complain of excruciating pain. They are generally elderly diabetic patients. Also, they have otorrhea, ear discharge, and on ear examination, generally granulations are seen in the floor of the external auditory canal at the junction of the bone and the cartilage. Facial palsy is a common feature in these patients, and if the disease has progressed, then the patients may also present with other cranial palsies like 9th, 10th, and 11th if jugular foramen is involved. Then, if the infection has spread to the skull base, that is intracranial spread, then the patient can also complain of intracranial symptoms like headache, neck stiffness, fever. The investigations of malignant otitis externa include the culture and sensitivity of the discharge to know the organism and its antibiotic susceptibility. Then HRCT, high resolution computed tomography scan of the temporal bone is done to know the extent of the disease. Then gallium 67 scan. Now it is a radionuclide marker and it is helpful in diagnosis as well as follow-up of the patient. So this gallium 67, it is taken up by the monocytes and reticuloendothelial cells and is indicative of soft tissue infection. And it is used, it can be repeated every 3 weeks to monitor the disease in response to the treatment. So it is a very sensitive test and it is used for follow-up of the patient. Similarly, technetium 99 bone scan, it also reveals bone infection, but it remains positive for a year or so and cannot be used to monitor the disease. Hence, if we want to monitor this disease, then gallium 67 scan is a better option. The treatment of malignant otitis externa contains strict control of diabetes. If the patient is not already on insulin, then insulin needs to be started. Then cleaning of the ear canal is required. The discharge is removed. Any debris or granulations tissues are removed, and any dead tissue or bone, if required, it is surgically debrided. Then higher doses of intravenous antibiotics, which are specifically targeted against Pseudomonas, they are used. For example, tobramycin, ticarcillin, or third generation cephalosporins. And this antibiotic treatment, it is generally continued for 6 to 8 weeks for complete cure of the patient. Thank you.